Welcome to this video on communication as a tool for motivation. As the quote suggests, a leader's words cast a long shadow.
Most projects don't fail because of technical errors. They fail because of people. Disagreements drain your time. Disengagement drains your culture. And a lack of clarity drains your bank account. Today we're looking at exactly how to fix the communication gap before it costs you your next promotion. Most people think great communication is about talking well. They're wrong. Great communication is essential for effective leadership. Think of impactful communicators who have inspired movements in businesses. Warren Buffett stated that leaders don't just get the message across, they are the message. At this point, you might think communication is just about mastering those four voices in a meeting, but we need to look deeper. The dictionary defines communication as, quote, sharing information through speaking, writing, or signals. But in the world of high-stakes leadership and career transformation, that is only the tip of the iceberg. True communication is also about what you don't say. It's the silence you hold when a team member is speaking. It's the body language you project when you're under pressure, showing whether you are truly open to feedback or just waiting for your turn to speak. It's found in your actions and decisions. Your team hears what you say, but they believe what you do. Every choice you make, every email you send, and, most importantly, what you choose to focus your time on, sends a loud, clear signal about your priorities and your values. You have everyday opportunities to motivate or demotivate your employees through large-scale platforms, meetings, and one-on-one interactions. If communication is the tool, then employee motivation is the engine it powers. To build a high-performing team, we have to master these 6 key drivers. Direction and support are your primary communication levers. They provide the clear vision and the consistent coaching your team needs to succeed. When you align these with meaningful rewards, empowering job design, and an inclusive culture, you create a space where the individual can truly excel. The transformation occurs here, at the arrow. We move away from the compliance mindset and toward true engagement. This is about discretionary effort. That extra mile an employee travels not because they have to, but because they want to. The payoff is undeniable. Performance and commitment reach new heights. Job satisfaction becomes a reality. And turnover, one of the costliest leaks in any organization, is finally plugged. In the end, your ability to communicate effectively is the single greatest driver of your team's success. Let's explore how leaders can communicate to motivate their employees, starting with one-on-one settings. But elite communication isn't just about how you handle a crowded boardroom. It's about how you handle the person sitting directly across from you. In a one-on-one setting, you have to master 4 distinct dimensions to truly lead. First, direction. Your team needs to know exactly where the goalpost is. Without a clear target, even the most talented people will eventually drift. Second, meaning. This is where most managers fail. You have to explain why that goalpost matters, not just to the company, but to them. You have to connect their daily grind to their own professional legacy. Third, support. Once they know where they are going and why, they need to know you have their back. This dimension is about removing the obstacles in their path and providing the resources they need to score. And finally, empowerment. This is the ultimate act of leadership trust. It's about telling your people that you are passing them the ball. You aren't just directing them, you are giving them the authority to take the shot themselves. When you hit all 4 of these dimensions, you aren't just a boss, you're a coach building a winner. Direction creates clarity by reducing ambiguity and focusing energy on what's important. To practice this, clarify the end goal, review priorities, set performance expectations, and explain the link between performance and outcomes. Empowerment enhances responsibility, developing new skills, and increasing commitment. Achieve this through delegating tasks, rotating facilitation roles, and assigning large projects for growth. Meaning activates intrinsic motivation by providing purpose and elevating employee identity. Show how tasks fit into larger outcomes and link employee values to organizational goals. Support promotes reciprocity by increasing commitment and performance. Show empathy, provide resources, ensure fairness, and communicate how the organization supports the person. Next, let's consider the opportunities to motivate employees in meetings. Meetings are a significant use of time for senior executives. Unproductive meetings, however, can cost billions annually. If you think that's just a feeling, look at the data. In our new normal, the meeting is the work. Most employees are juggling over 60 meetings a month. That is 31 hours of unproductive time, nearly an entire work week lost to the void. And what is actually happening in those rooms? 91% of your team is daydreaming. 73% are busy doing other work just to keep their heads above water. And nearly 40% have actually fallen asleep. When half of our meetings are considered time wasted, we aren't just losing hours, we're losing morale. 47% of employees now cite meetings as the #1 time waster in the office. The cost of miscommunication isn't just a line item. It's the silent killer of our most valuable resource, time. So how do we stop the bleed? How do we take those 31 wasted hours and turn them into meaningful progress? It starts with intentionality. You aren't just a participant in a meeting. You are an instrument of the outcome. To move a group from confusion to convergence, there are 4 distinct voices you must learn to project. The advocate. This is your voice of conviction. When you advocate, you aren't just sharing an opinion. You are championing a specific direction and providing the evidence to back it up. The support. In a room full of competing ideas, the support voice is the glue. By validating a colleague's point or adding a missing piece to their puzzle, you build the rapport necessary for consensus. The inquire. This is often the most powerful tool in your kit. By asking the right question, you surface hidden risks and force the lack of clarity into the light. You lead the room by listening. The disagree. Finally, there is the voice of dissent. Disagreement doesn't have to be destructive. When delivered well, a well-timed "I see it differently" protects the team from groupthink and expensive mistakes. Mastering these 4 voices means you no longer just attend meetings. You facilitate the rapport and the convergence required to actually get things done. Use the advocate voice to assert a direction. Clearly state your reasoning and encourage others to explore your view and offer different perspectives. The support voice is used to express agreement and encourage collaboration. Share your insights, offer resources, and make connections between ideas. The inquire voice is for clarifying views. Understand others' reasoning, explain your intent, and ask questions to gain a deeper understanding. When using the disagree voice, express differences of opinion respectfully. Start by sharing what you agree with, demonstrate active listening, explain your perspective, and then facilitate convergence on the next steps. In a high-pressure environment, whether you're negotiating with vendors for a major ERP implementation or catching up one-on-one with a colleague, where you land on this spectrum determines your influence. On the left, we have the indirect trap. Using phrases like maybe or could we might feel polite, but in a leadership context, it often comes across as hesitant or even passive-aggressive. If you don't express yourself clearly, you won't be heard, your team will feel frustrated, and ultimately, trust will start to erode. On the far right, we hit the aggressive wall. This is the overly direct style. Words like must, should, or wrong shut down collaboration. While you might get immediate compliance, the long-term cost is high. You create a culture of conflict where others feel bullied or compelled, and trust disappears just as fast as it does with the indirect approach. The goal is the center, being direct. This isn't about being blunt, it's about being clear and inquiring. By using open questions like how, when, and what, you maintain a calm, precise tone. You're expressing yourself confidently while remaining a non-judgmental, active listener. When you master the direct voice, disagreements are accepted as part of the process, and you achieve better collective decision-making. You aren't just giving orders, you're facilitating a path toward the best possible outcome. Finally, let's address how leaders can communicate to motivate in large group settings. In larger forums, distance is much more than just the physical space between you and the back row. It manifests in 3 critical ways: power and hierarchy. Your job level and authority create a psychological distance. The more senior you are, the more your words are amplified, and sometimes distorted. You must work harder to ensure your message remains grounded and accessible. Intimacy and relationships. In a large room, you lose the high rapport environment of a small team. You have fewer individual interactions to lean on, meaning your message must be clear enough to resonate with a wide variety of perspectives simultaneously. Geographical and cultural distance. In our global landscape, large group settings often cross borders. You must be acutely aware of how cultural nuances and geographical separation impact how your tone, your pace, and your voice are received. Remember, the larger the room, the more intentional your communication must be. Influence is not about how many people are in the room. It's about how many of them leave with a clear understanding of the why. When you are dealing with high distance, think town halls, large diverse groups, or skip-level employees, your focus must be on vision. In these settings, you aren't just giving updates, you are providing meaning. Because these goals are longer term and may even feel unreachable, your job is to inspire purpose. You have to explain the why that keeps people moving, even when the finish line is miles away. As the distance narrows to low distance, your direct reports, project meetings, or one-on-ones, the focus shifts from vision to goals. Here, people don't just need inspiration, they need a roadmap. You motivate action by being specific. By explaining exactly what needs to be done, you reduce uncertainty and increase focus. The elite leader knows how to toggle between these two. You provide the vision to give them a reason to show up, and the goals to give them a reason to stay. When you align the why of the town hall with the what of the project meeting, you create a team that is not just productive, but unstoppable. We've talked about the how and the what of communication. But if you want to lead a true transformation, you have to master the why. This is where storytelling becomes your ultimate unfair advantage. Research shows that when you frame your vision as a story, the impact is staggering. A well-crafted narrative is 22 times more memorable than facts and figures alone. But it's not just about memory. It's about biology. Listening to a story triggers 5 times more neural activity than listening to dry data.